I don't think any of us really saw a comfortable win for Georgia or for Alabama today. But yeah, Kirby in the first half, they got that touchdown. I know, and I'm always on team score. I don't care about the clock, score. But you couldn't stop them all game. They have Jamison Williams, and you gave them a lot of time at the end of the half, and they went down and marched it down and scored, and that was weird. Oh, I know. I've ranted about this in other shows. Believe me, ridiculous. Yeah, probably. As I was talking, I thought to myself, "Nah, that was probably." I mean, it was 2 touchdowns with 2, but it was 21. It was 38-17. They were getting Fetty whopped. Yeah, it was a blowout. Uh, yeah, that game was ugly. I don't know if Cristobal is going to Miami, and that's why. Okay, we have a child in chat apparently in conspiracy theory land. I don't know if he was thinking about Miami, but for a guy that can recruit, why do you not have a better quarterback than Anthony Brown? What? What? I don't understand what the game plan was that night. No, because it'll be a third blowout. For the most part, what's funny enough is Purdue has some athletes. Out of all the schools, Purdue always has athletes. I think Kirby coached. I don't. I think some of his game management stuff today was a little weird. I don't think they made any great adjustments in the first half. So I don't think he had a great game. Pac-12 After Dark is fun, though. Come on. Come on. Pac-12 After Dark's fun. And to the point of Kirby not bad. Yeah. I had that in my notes. I'm like, it's 3rd and 7. Why are there 3 down linemen? Which is a shame because Pitt and Wake Forest are going to play a super fun game. It's a 21-14 Wake in the first quarter. Come on, guys. Watch that game. That game was sloppy. Sloppy. Ugly game, that Big 12 title game today. Wake Forest and Pitt. Kenny Pickett versus Sam Hartman, baby. Watch it. It's going to be fun. And it is fun. It's 21-14. Not completely wrong. No, you're very much closer to right. Is the Heisman a wrap? Yes. The Heisman's a wrap. Will Anderson had a pretty good game today. He had a sack at the end, giving him 22 sacks in 26 games. My Lord, is he a freak? And he'll be back next year. No, yeah, the Heisman was over after the first half. Once Bryce led them down the field, that Heisman was over. Just touching on the rest of college football. I thought he'd be a weird fit at Virginia Tech. I think the coach they got, the Penn State defensive coordinator, Pry is his name. I think he's a good coach. I think he's done a great job at Penn State. He's the only reason they were competitive at points this year. I thought it was a weird hire. And I'm the guy that unironically threw out Barry Odom's name for that. And Barry Odom was terrible at Missouri for a lot of it. Agreed. And the popular opinion since he's going to get killed in a month, and they very well might be. But it is fun to watch programs get their due. Utah almost got it 2 years ago when they lost to Oregon in the Pac-12 title game. But it's cool to see programs that are run the right way, win a lot of games. Utah wins a lot of games in the Pac-12. And with good coaches, Whittingham's a good coach, Fickle's a good coach, and they're going to get their day in the sun. And that's always cool to see. They are not. Well, today was a reason why I don't understand why the Big 12 has a championship game. Playing basically what the Big 12 did today was pretty much cost a team a playoff chance. Unless Michigan loses and Baylor sneaks in, but I don't think that's happening. They cost themselves a playoff chance. Sounded like Rick there. Morty, they cost themselves a playoff chance. Not a clue. When all the Mario Cristobal stuff came out, I was like, did I miss when I was doing my show Thursday? Did I miss Manny Diaz getting fired? I assumed someone would comment that, or I'd see a tweet or an alert, or someone would tell me. And I'm like, did I just miss something? No, they skip a step, but that program's in chaos right now. Yeah, he's worked one. I mean, what did they go 2-7 last year with Aranda? Yeah, he didn't have it on easy street. He didn't. I mean, Mechie will be an NFL pick. I don't know if he's a first round pick. Jameson Williams is a first round pick, but Tua had 3 or 4 first round picks and a first round pick at running back and a great offensive line. So Mac had an all time great offensive line and some great weapons, and Mac had a great year too. Bryce hasn't had it on easy street, and he's a sophomore. He didn't get to, and he sat last year behind Mac, and he looks like he learned a lot. So, I'm super impressed with him all year because a lot of the time, and he didn't get Sark as a play caller or, who did Jalen have? He's now in Buffalo. What is his name? Having a hard time thinking of it. Dayball. He didn't get those guys. He's getting Bill O'Brien, and a lot of the times it looked like Bill O'Brien's offense was Bryce go make a play, and he did. Yeah, no worries. No, they don't, because if Michigan loses, maybe, but I don't think Iowa's scoring 14 unanswered against Michigan, and so no, because you're not putting him in over Cincy because Cincy beat him, and no. It would have been funny, though, with Marcus Freeman, which is, I think, a good hire. I know people at Florida. I know a guy that used to work at Florida. Yeah, Dan Mullen, not well liked by a lot of people. Yeah, but they won every game and they beat the 6th-ranked team in the country. Not do isn't like they just give them a playoff spot. Like, hey, look how great this program has been after they were a disaster for a while. Weird comment. You know what? I'll be honest. I don't know a ton about. I thought it was a weird hire. But he's had some good defenses at Penn State, so. I guess that game was atrocious, ugly football, but it did have a very fun ending. Also true, and they've been made up for it ever since. Let's see. That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. I am behind on comments. Josh Gaddis better have a lot of plans because he's not going to be able to do what they did at Ohio State. He's not going to be able to do what they did to Ohio State to Georgia. Completely agreed. They made the right move. Wisconsin lost to Minnesota lost to Iowa. Iowa was just, I mean, they're 10-2. Like, I don't think Iowa's that great of a team, but they're 10-2. They lost at Wisconsin and they lost to Purdue. And Wisconsin lost 3 conference games. Lost to Michigan, lost to Penn State, and lost to Minnesota. Who deserves to go in over them? Tell me that. Who deserves to go in over them? You don't have to think they belong, but who deserves to go in over them? Notre Dame, the team that Cincy beat, whose best win is Wisconsin. Baylor, with a backup quarterback who needed a goal line stand to beat Okie State despite 5 turnovers. Ohio State, who has 2 losses and got. I don't think so. Against Michigan? Yeah, they'll be able to move the ball. Yeah, I'd assume Alabama was number 1. Because they're not going to have Michigan or Alabama and Georgia play again. So unless Michigan wins this game, and you just have no choice, and you have to, they win 56-3 or something, and you have no choice, to put them above, put Michigan at number 1. Excuse me. They do that every year though, because they don't have the offense to win. I mean, yeah, to be fair, let's also say this, and I talked about this Thursday. Here's a dirty secret in college football. Most playoff games suck. How many great playoff games we had? We had Georgia, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson in 2019, and who else? Talking about the semifinals, not just the title games. Because the title games you've been pretty lucky with. Most of the playoff semifinals stink. Again, talking about semifinals, not... I said Clemson, Ohio State. Clemson, Ohio State, Alabama, Ohio State in 2014, and Oklahoma, Georgia. Those are the only good ones we have. They all stink. They're all blowouts. Okay, tell me who thinks it's going to be Alabama. Georgia's probably the only team that can. They're talented enough. Something we agree with. I completely agree. We do not need an expansion. And I've talked about this. I don't want expansion because, again, the college football, the regular season has to matter. It's the only sport in America where the regular season matters, where if you lose a game, your season could be over. And to me, it would stink if this year's Michigan-Ohio State game, if we had 8 teams in the playoffs, 12 teams in the playoffs, whatever, the game doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Both teams are in the playoffs. SEC championship game. Now, today, Georgia is going to make the playoffs. So This year, it doesn't matter. I agree. I will say that. But most years, it matters. Probably, if you're talking about Georgia, probably not. No, it actually probably be the highest. Maybe Alabama, Ohio State. No, Alabama fans and Georgia fans are all over the country. No, the Iowa defense is really good, and they're really good at forcing turnovers. It's their 118th ranked offense that puts me to sleep. They do get hot, but how often do we see these teams that are getting hot at the end of the year win? Like this year, who's the team everybody's talking about is getting hot? It was the Eagles. Now it's Washington. No, I don't think we need expansion. Team, this has to matter. Utah would make the playoff. It won't, but what? So why does it matter since he makes it this year? Despite being a really good team that's lost one game in 2 years, took Georgia to the brink last year and beat Notre Dame. Yeah, I could spend 15 minutes talking about how good Brock Bowers is. Shoot, 1958. This is not even explosive for 1958. 1958 had the invention of the forward pass. Yeah, and they'll get murdered by Alabama, even though they've been really good. But Rising isn't a quarterback that's going to beat Georgia, that's going to beat Alabama. Um, I really like Utah though. I've always respected Utah, but they lost 3 games. You want to make the playoff? I know they got hot, but also maybe don't lose to BYU and San Diego State. Two not very bad, not bad teams at all. Those are two pretty good teams. Maybe don't lose to them.